Have you got a rough estimate, though, of where you expect the rate to go? 5.8 at the moment, over 6, I'm assuming, at least.
Well, what the last forecasts from Treasury were contained in last year's mid-year economic and fiscal outlook in December, and what they expected was that the unemployment rate would be 7.5% in the March quarter, and as you know, it's 5.8%. So the labour market has proven to be a lot more resilient than either Treasury or the Reserve Bank has forecast. We'll provide another update in the budget, and of course, as I said, we've got other programs that we continue to roll out.
Sure, it's going to obviously come as a shock for a lot of people who will lose their jobs next week. We know that. But how do you think it's going to wash when they hear these reports of business leaders giving themselves bonuses after taking JobKeeper for the best part of a year?
Well, we know that JobKeeper has saved more than 700,000 jobs. That's what Treasury, that's what the Reserve Bank have said. And when we designed the program, we intended to get the money out the door to those who needed it. And those businesses at that time were looking to sack a whole lot of workers. I mean, you remember the pictures, Pete, of tens of thousands of our fellow Australians lining up outside Centrelink. And there was a lot of fear across the community. What JobKeeper did was it prevented those job losses. It provided an economic lifeline to those who need it. Now, businesses followed the rules and the law that passed through the Parliament. Indeed, the Labor Party have been bragging that they supported our JobKeeper legislation. Well, the fact is that was the law that they passed it.
What's your position on bonuses?
When it comes to businesses, decisions that they take around dividends or bonuses are matters for individual businesses. I'm not going to comment on individual companies across the economy. But what I will say is if businesses are in a position to pay back JobKeeper, then they should. And I've been consistent on that, and so has the Prime Minister. Now, some businesses have decided to do that. We would welcome other businesses to do that. But what the Labor Party is asking is asking us to retrospectively change the law, and that would create a whole lot of doubt for hundreds of thousands of businesses across the economy that did take JobKeeper that are now back on their feet.
Given the flooding crisis that's gripping New South Wales, Queensland, parts of Victoria as well at the moment, how is it that $0 have been spent from the $4 billion natural disaster fund that was announced 2 years ago?
Well, as you know, we've announced just yesterday, we announced just earlier in response to the floods, $1,000 grants to adults, $400 to children and income support. So that program is not the only program that is providing support. We've got a range of applications that are out now, decisions are being taken.
This is a natural disaster.
Well, because we've established that, and we've now got the programs that are being currently assessed, and we'll have and make decisions shortly about that. But what we have got is other programs that are designed to support those who are in need with the floods. And as I've said, $1,000 for adults, $400 for children, as well as income support, as well as other supports that will be needed to respond to this crisis. What we have proven, whether it's the bushfires, whether it's the drought, whether it's the floods, is that we are there for the Australian people when these natural disasters occur.